Hello and welcome back to the Leinster Listen. I'm your host Mick Linan and this is episode 40, the review of Leinster versus Edinburgh in the round of 16 knockout match of the Investec Champions Cup. This episode's content will cover the Investec Champions Cup match results, the quarter-final breakdown and predictions, overall opinion of the game, and an analysis of the game events. Right, folks, well, I don't know about you, but I actually watched pretty much every single Champions Cup game and the Challenge Cup games. Well, as much of them as I could. A few of them were on at the same time, obviously, notably the Zebra and Pow one. But what a weekend of rugby. You know, you were talking about the Six Nations there, having the Super Saturdays, but my God, that was the craziest weekend of rugby I've ever seen or witnessed in my life. Some really, huge games there, proper knockout rugby. It brings out the best in pretty much every team that comes up to play those games. And let's go through some of them now. So, first and foremost, let's talk about the main one, and we'll talk a lot about it today, is Leinster 49, Edinburgh 31. So Leinster obviously getting that win there. Huge dominant win in the second half as well. But let's go over to some other ones. Northampton Saints 49, Casts 41. Yeah, that was a very tight game. A flurry of points here. Jesus, it was 90 points overall in that game. Fantastic. Proper stellar rugby and just a whirlwind of tries. But it was a great game. I'd implore everyone that's listening now to go back and watch the highlights of pretty much every single one of these games because they were so close. It was like edge of your seat moments for pretty much all these games. Moving over there, we had Toulon 28, DHL Stormers 27. And honestly, that is so close. And if you watched the last few moments of that, it was even closer than you could imagine. I've no idea why Stormers didn't go for a drop goal, given that they had possession and tried their best to go for a try at the end. If they gotten the drop goal, obviously they would have won it. But they went over the line, didn't make it, got held up, game over. Heartbreak situation for them. But yeah, it was full of drama there. The end of that, the reason they got so close to that one as well, was a full-on head-on-head collision at high speed that cost Toulon a yellow card and obviously the penalty there. But alas, came to nothing. The Stormers decided they wanted to go for glory and it did not work out for them. Next up there, we had Bath 31, Saracens 22. Again, something that was just absolutely crazy there. Saracens, I believe, were leading at halftime against Bath, but then Bath obviously coming back there and showing the Saracens what they had going for them all this season. Really, just been a fantastic team. But yeah, another one that just was so close. One that probably wasn't so much close, but was still a very entertaining game, was Toulouse versus Bristol Bears. That finished up Toulouse 59, Bristol Bears 26. Pretty decent game. And I think it was always going to be expected that the Bristol Bears had when I say uphill battle, probably kind of like Everest in that situation. But look, they played well. Obviously got a few scores on the board there, but just not enough, nowhere near enough to beat that Toulouse team. Next up, we Glasgow Warriors 25 and Vodacom Bulls 21. That was a shock really for me. I didn't think the Bulls would come anywhere near Glasgow at all there. They really put it to them. They were actually looking dominant there for a couple of moments in that game as well. And I was thinking, Jesus, if they win this, we won't get to live out that Scottstown double header again that we had before. But yeah, obviously Glasgow Warriors pulling the win there as well. Next up, and I called it, I said it before, Harlequins 17, Sale Sharks 26. Yeah, look, Sale Sharks they were just the most dominant team throughout that game. The scoreboard would probably say that it was, a bit closer than it was, but I thought they just looked like they had it in the bag the whole time. So, yeah, huge win for them there as well. And last but not least, yes, an annihilation of the Leicester Tigers, and I mean, it was an annihilation. Bordeaux Bagel, they're 64-14 Leicester Tigers. Yeah, it was Biel Biarri absolutely flying through it. Also their hooker, which I mean a fair lump of a man now, and he was making runs left, right and centre. It was a fantastic game to watch. But yeah, look, absolutely annihilation there. But I just bring one thing to attention here now. I was watching that Bordeaux game, right? They have a Leo the Lion, right? And then at one point, I'm nearly sure I heard a trumpeter playing dirty old town. Now, someone correct me, please, because I was dumbstruck. I was like, these lads are completely copying us here. But look, anyway, they always have to have someone to look up to, and obviously Leinster is that for them. Who do we have up so for the quarter-final fixtures? So this has set up a Bath versus Northampton Saints, so a full English quarter-final there. That's on Friday, April 10th. Then we have Glasgow Warriors versus Toulon. That's on Saturday, the 11th. Also on Saturday 11th, we have Leinster versus Sale Sharks. You know, that's the tickets are on sale tomorrow actually, so you know, a general sale. So get those tickets in, lads. And then last but not least, we have a full French quarterfinal as well. Bordeaux Bagel versus Toulouse, and that is on Sunday, April 12th. So by the Sunday, we will actually be able to figure out what our semi-finals are. But I'm going to give you a prediction. I'm going to give you the best prediction I can as to what will be those semi-final fixtures. And here we go. I think Bath are going to beat Northampton Saints. I do think Glasgow are going to beat Toulon. I think Leinster are going to beat Sale Sharks. And I think Bordeaux are going to beat Toulouse. Now, I'm going to say Bordeaux are going to beat Toulouse. I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game. It could even be the game of the tournament. I think that's just going to be an absolute onslaught of tries. But look, what some fantastic fixtures there really coming up. Like Bordeaux versus Toulouse, that'll just be an electric game, an absolutely electric game. So anyway, what does that mean if those were the actual predictions going into those semis? Well, it'll be obviously a Bordeaux versus Bath, and it'll be in Bordeaux, and then it'll be Glasgow Warriors versus Leinster, and that'll be in Scottstown Stadium in Glasgow. A repeat of what we just went through there a couple of weeks ago. But look, I'm telling you now, I think if we get back there, we're going to put it to them, and we're going to put the foot down, and we're going to put in a ton of tries and beat them at home there, and really show the Scottish where to go, because we did Edinburgh in. Now we can definitely do Glasgow as well. Anyway, that's all that excitement over. Let's just actually go back into the game at hand here. So yeah, look, overall there, my prediction, first and foremost, we have to talk about this. Unfortunately, once again, I thank God I'm not in bet, man. I have to say it. My prediction was 34-12. I expected an absolute, annihilation of sorts of Edinburgh, and it well, I mean, no, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. The actual score there was obviously 49-31. An absolute chaotic 12-try shootout. A very high octane game with a lot of crazy moments throughout. Now, my overall opinion, and not to sound cliche, but it was a game of two halves within the first 40 minutes, and that could only be described as that. We looked absolutely dominant on the ball, but then we had these brain fart moments in between. Tommy O'Brien, Jesus, first 10 minutes was just crazy. He is some man, I think I've said it numerous times, he's probably the best winger that Ireland has ever produced, but fantastic there. But unfortunately, we did give 3 intercept tries. And I don't even know if you can call them interception tries, because if you actually literally hand them the ball, is that considered an interception? If I just pass it to the opposing team, does that still count as an intercept try? Yeah, I suppose it probably does. But look, it was an embarrassment, really. And I think Leo Cullen even said it. In all of his time as a player and even as a coach, he can't remember the last time that we had 3 intercept tries in a single game. So yeah, look, something that we how do you even improve on that? Look where you're passing it, pass it to the actual player. Anyway, look, it is what it is. Let's just get into some of the set pieces here and the other parts of the game. Get some analysis there. Scrums, yeah, look, scrums were relatively stable. Probably lacked a little bit of dominance there throughout. We operated an 85% success rate. Not bad. We won 2 scrum penalties. There we go. These are the things you want to see coming out of the scrums, especially these knockout games. Now, again, it was Edinburgh who have been struggling massively in pretty much their entire season. But look, one of those, an error from the scrums was, well, it actually caused the first Charlie Shields try, and it was a very loose pass from Tyke Furlong off the back at the base of the scrum, and it just went straight into Charlie Shields' hands, and he was just like a rocket the whole way down, and he got the first intercept try. But look, I think in terms of the depth we have, that was pretty much our Ireland team out there for the scrums, and they did well. I think they did well. 85% success rate. That's what you want to do. You want to see that. You want to see that level of success, and hopefully keep that up, because I don't think Glasgow Warriors will be as nice to us, and I don't think Sale Sharks will be as nice to us either. So something we do have to keep up. Obviously it's working well for us now. So yeah, not really much to say there. In terms of lineouts, yeah, a little bit uncharacteristically sloppy. I think Dan Sheehan probably had a bit of a mare of a time. There was one there. Probably his biggest blunder was actually the miscommunication in the 22nd minute, where he just sailed the ball completely over Ryan Baird, and that, like a very big man when he's lifted, to go right over his head, and that actually allowed Edinburgh to clear their line, very deep in their half. So, yeah, look, something that we probably need to work on there, especially coming into the rest of the knockout games. Like, we lost 3 of our own throws. That's not what you want to see. You don't want a 75% success rate in lineouts is not great. Obviously 75% that's 3/4, but regardless, if you're going to be doing that in knockout rugby, you're going to get knocked out. So yeah, I think it's just miscommunication. I think maybe because Baird has just been back. Obviously he's been training with us. I'm not blaming him for it, but there might have been just a small bit of lack of communication going through the channels into those lifters, and obviously the jumpers and the thrower there, Dan Sheehan. But yeah, look, we can look in that. Leo Cullen, I'm sure, has that on his radar. And yeah, we can work on them ones. If that's the only thing that was wrong, happy out. Well, apart from the next section we're going to go into, which was the defence. A little bit too passive, yeah, but realistically, we only missed 17 tackles overall. So, still 17. Obviously, that is still a number quite high. But I think it's not too bad in the grand scheme of things. Like, that's an 82% tackle success rate. I'll take that. Now, in fairness, Edinburgh scored 2 tries off it. Obviously, going into some of the bigger games, Sale Sharks, Glasgow Warriors, if you do the same for them, they will score tries too. So it is something to be looked at. But like, our defence overall wasn't fantastically bad. It wasn't fantastically great. So it was a middling approach for it. I think if we didn't have those intercept tries, I think if we looking back saying, yeah, defence was actually very good. We didn't let them get any more than 2 tries. Realistically. But yeah, it is what it is. Moving on then, though, to something a little bit more, silver lining or golden lining at this point. It was just the attack. Our attack was absolutely clinical, lads. We had a 58% possession rate and a 59% territory rate. That's that. I haven't seen that stat, I think, all season. That is what you want to see. We absolutely carved through 17 line breaks. Compared to their 10 now, and obviously 3 of those were an intercept pass. So technically they had 7, right? I'll die on this hill. I will die on this hill that our defence wasn't that bad, but our attack was so good. And I'll put it down to one man here, and it's Harry Byrne. Harry Byrne had probably the game of his career. 7 out of 7, 100% off the tee there for the conversions. Fantastic. His passing was amazing. He did a sweeping pass there every single time, the dummy pass and a sweeping pass back, loop round, kind of that Sexton loop. He was kind of doing a kind of a half mark of that, and it just worked out so well. He had the defence on a flat foot pretty much the entire game. They could not take their eyes off him. He was doing some fantastic runs. He was doing some fantastic carries as well. Jesus, there was one point there he was going to make it through. So Harry Byrne, 100%. I honestly think he should have got the man of the match. He didn't, but very tight, I'd say. One of those 13 phase sweeping moves that he was part of resulted in Raiko Wane's try, and that just that's the highlight. It highlights the crispness of that, complete flat pass, and so you need to get those pop passes, flat passes in, and those support lines were just fantastic. So the attack there, you could not fault it. We were on the ball, lads. We were just bottle it and take a sip of it now in the next 2 games. That's what we want. Some notable players there, yeah, obviously Tommy O'Brien. He is an absolute electric eel on the wing. Obviously bagged himself 2 tries there in the first 6 minutes, and he was just a constant threat. 58 metres get made in that entire game for himself. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look, I'll say it again. I said it already in this episode. He is probably the best winger that Ireland has ever produced, and I stand by that. I would have said that's about JJ Kenny. I think he's up and coming, but Tommy just has it. He just has it. He's just, every time he has the ball, even the aerial battles there as well. He was catching some fucking fantastic kicks coming from Edinburgh. So, look, I think he deserves the man of the match, 100%. But he's just an electric player, man. Oh, electric. Next up there, look, Harry Byrne. I know I'm blowing it up hot air up his arse here at the moment. But I'm going to go again. Look, he kept the scoreboard ticking there. Flawless, as I said, 100% kick and display, 7 out of 7 conversions. Bliss. And look, I think he really opened up the Edinburgh defence there, because his delayed passes, as I said before, were just perfect. And then he was kicking really deep. There's a couple of grubbers there as well. They didn't go to hand before in the game, last week's game, but this time they did. And they really, they turned the defence properly as well, exactly what you want to see. And yeah, I'm delighted. I'm delighted he had such a good game. And I wish he did get a proper game over Six Nations. I think he would have flourished. I think he would have taken the stage. He would have been able to, to play the field there, and he's definitely shown it. He's ended the debate now for Leinster. I think just invest in Harry. He's only 26. For Jesus Christ, like just invest in him. Put your faith in him. He's gonna do well. End of. Anyway, moving on there. Hugo Keenan. Yeah, I'm so glad he's back. Hasn't he just proved himself straight away? He's so dynamic. He's such an industrious player. Like, oh my God. 14 carries himself, scored a try for himself as well, and he was just fantastic in the counter-attacks. So he's played a blinder. I'm so glad he's back. And then last but not least there, Van der Fleer. Yeah, an immense work rate. And I would have actually said before in the last few episodes, you would have heard me kind of call him an anonymous player, maybe just not being there, not being present. But obviously it just took the knockout games for him to come right back. Because he scored technically 2 tries now. I know one of them was disallowed because he supposedly slipped it down his arm. I think he meant it. But look, that 55th minute try was fantastic, and it reclaimed the lead. But he was all over the place. He was doing some fantastic carries, some fantastic tackles, and he was in contention there for man of the match as well. So great to see. Moving over there, Luke Pearce was the referee. Yeah. I don't think he had any crazy... No, he didn't know crazy decisions there. There was one where Hugo Keenan pretty much nearly got knocked out. But I do agree with him. There was no foul play there. He was fallen from the first tackle, and your man led with the shoulder. But it is what it is. It's a rugby incident, and I think it would have been kind of one of those flash in the pan moments if he had come out with a card for that. And I think I'm glad he didn't. So yeah, fairly decent game by him. As I said, I don't mind him. I think he's actually a fairly fair referee. In the line there, and I looked up to the thesaurus for this, lads, a scintillating match in attack. But shockingly, those intercept tries were just, a gift. A gift to Edinburgh, I suppose. A parting gift, as you say. But yeah, look, we had some squeaky bum time moments throughout that game, but I'm glad we pulled through and we did well. Alright folks, just going into the match events here quickly. So the 4th minute there, a very quick opening try for Leinster. Tommy O'Brien, a brilliant flat pass to put him in the corner there. That was converted successfully by Harry Byrne, brought score to 7-0. 6th minute then, we'd have to wait too long for another Tommy O'Brien pass. Probably O'Brien try, mind you. A beautiful floating pass there from Owane. Sends him for a quick double in there, and that was successfully converted by Harry Byrne, brought the score to 14-0. 15th minute then, the open try for Edinburgh. Charlie Shield intercepted off a loose furlong pass from the back of the scrum, and that was successfully converted by Ross Thompson, brought a score to 14-7. 20th minute then for try for Edinburgh, Ross Thompson again. Sorry, not again, but just for the first one. An incredible solo try there. He evaded Gibson Park and also Keenan, unfortunately. And that was successfully converted by himself. Brought the score even, 14-14. 23rd minute then, Leinster, Jimmy O'Brien, peeled off a huge rolling maul there and scored in the left corner very deep. That was successfully converted by Harry Byrne, brought the score to 21-14. 28th minute then, another Ross Thompson try. He intercepted that pass. Very flat ball for Tommy O'Brien. Unfortunately, he was the one to do it. But look, narrowed the gap there, and that was missed conversion there by Ross Thompson. Brought score 21-19. 32nd minute then, a Leinster try again. Hugo Keenan, very slick footwork there to avoid Shield, and just got over for his first try. Harry Byrne converted that successfully as well, brought the score to 28-19. 40th minute then, right before half time, Matt Curry brought Edinburgh right back into it. He intercepted a pass from Harry Byrne there, and just on the stroke of half time, and Ross Thompson converted that successfully, brought the score at half time to 28-26. 51st minute then, a try for Edinburgh. Darcy Graham, probably a worldly try here. Perfect little chip and chase over Gibson Park, and he just followed it perfectly, and then he brought Edinburgh into the lead for the first time in that game. Ross Thompson actually missed that conversion, brought the score to 28-31. 55th minute then, a try for Leinster. Josh van der Fleer, completely powerful pick and go, like just a complete dominant pick and go, and it restored our lead there, and that was successfully converted by Harry Byrne. Also, all of them were successfully converted by Harry Byrne, so I can probably just stop saying that, but I will anyway. So I brought the score to 35-31. 63rd minute then, try for Leinster. Thomas Clarkson, yeah, look, replacing prop here, absolute fantastic try for him. He actually got brought down probably about a metre and a half out, but he just pushed himself down and propped the ball onto the line. That was successfully converted by Harry Byrne, brought the score to 42-31. 65th minute then, a try for Leinster, none other than Raiko Wane down the wing. He sold the best dummy pass to Darcy Graham, who was actually, rather than try to tackle the man who had the ball, tried to jump to intercept it, and he just cruised past him and left him looking at him. Which was, I just go back and look at it, it's so funny. And that it was successfully converted by Harry Byrne, brought the score to 49-31, and that was actually the full-time score. Leinster 49, Edinburgh 31. Man of the match there was Tommy Ryan, and he deserved every bit of it. Early double there, set the tone. 58 metres carried, 3 clean breaks, and an absolute perfect workload throughout that game. Okay, folks, next game is Leinster versus Sale Sharks in the quarter-final of the Investec Champions Cup. That's on Saturday, April 11th, and that is in the Aviva Stadium. Tickets are on general sale tomorrow, so get those in your pocket and get out to that game. It is going to be fantastic. But anyway, that's her, folks. If you haven't already, please do follow us on social media, Instagram, Reddit, and Blue Sky. Hope to see you at the game on Saturday, and as always, thanks for listening.